Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ and in this video we are going to be discussing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the latest animated film from Sony, and oh my goodness, we have a lot to talk about. Mostly in this video, we are going to discuss why Across the Spider-Verse is a perfect sequel. Across the Spider-Verse is about to join the legacy of amazing sequels that may be better than the original films. I'm talking Empire Strikes Back. I'm talking The Dark Knight. I'm talking Too Fast, Too Furious.
So forget about it, cuz.
Yeah, I know, I'm just kidding there, but seriously, this is a perfect sequel. This is how it's supposed to be done. When you're making a follow-up film to an Oscar-winning animated film, you cannot hold back. You have to let everything go. You have to create an art piece. That is a lot of expectations for this one movie, but holy hell, everyone did the damn job. Each one of the directors, I mean, specifically, like, I've been a big fan of Kemp since One Night in Miami, but to see him and all the other directors, the writers, everyone just be on top of their game. There's a lot that goes into why this is such a perfect sequel. We'll break down each and every one of those, like, those talking points. What all kind of adds to this to make it a perfect storm, to make it one of the best movies I've seen this year, if not one of the best movies I'm going to see in quite a long time. Animated movies, Spider-Man movies, like comic book movies, they do not get this good. This has a lot going for it. It's a visual spectacle, but I also really appreciate the story as well. There is a crap ton of characters, but each one of them makes a splash. Everyone makes an impression with me. I mean, Spider-Punk, I'm going to be thinking about Daniel Kaluuya's amazing work for years to come. I mean, seriously, everyone is on top of their game. There's a lot that went into making this movie just so special, and we're going to discuss it right now. Following up Into the Spider-Verse was not going to be easy. That is an Oscar-winning movie. It's one of the most beloved Spider-Man movies of all time. It's going to be hard, but this movie did a very good job of continuing that story. We'll talk about where this movie improved on the original, but I love right now that this was a good follow-up. It continues the story. We're aging Miles, we're aging Gwen, just enough that they've grown as characters, and we were allowed to grow with them as viewers. It's a refreshing take that I feel like sequels a lot of times, especially comic book movies, they don't feel like continuation. It feels like chapters in a book. Oh, well, this is the next chapter. Maybe we won't continue what we just saw, but we're just going to go on to a new adventure.
Did I lie? Did I lie?
This movie made sure that all the seeds that were planted in the first movie were watered, were fully blossomed, that if they're going to do another one, which there definitely are, it feels like there's going to be more to go on this journey, that they've done a great job setting stuff up and paying it off. I was very happy to see that this felt like a proper follow-up. Again, it wasn't too attached with trying to do everything that we saw in the first movie again, but it made it familiar. It made it feel comfortable. So when you're into it, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm in this world. I'm with these characters. I'm with these storytellers. It's easy to follow. It's easy to fall into. It's great to see. What I also love is that this movie kept up the spirit, the energy. There's a lot of good moments that I love to see that were there in the first one, the Afro-Latino side. I love that this movie celebrates Miles's black side and his Puerto Rican side equally. He just feels so alive, so realized, it continues it more. The stuff Miles has with his mother is some of the most impactful thing. They're Spanglish to each other. That sat with me so well. I mean, when he first sees Miguel and he's like, hello, and he starts speaking to him in Spanish, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like little moments of representation you won't really notice, but it really hits you hard. This movie is really good at representing everyone, not just spider people, but different characters, different walks of life, but none of it feels like, and let's pause and talk about how wonderfully diverse this moment is. It's just like, and it happens, and it's here. Like, Gwen has a uptick in storytelling in this movie. I liked what Gwen Stacy had to do in Into the Spider-Verse, but they upped her in this movie. They made her feel more realized. Again, that's what I'm saying. They paid off a lot of stuff that was cemented in that first movie. They said, here's what this movie is going to be about. Now let's increase that. Let's give you more. And as a sequel, that's exactly what you want. Why I think this is a perfect sequel is in part to how much it follows up the first one, but what also this movie does is blow the first movie out of the water. From storytelling to the amount of spider people we see to the visuals, everything is upped by like a million. The visuals. Look, I had some minor complaints about the first movie. Like, a lot of the backgrounds were blurry. They were trying to find their visual style. It was a lot, and sometimes it felt like a lot. Everything is fine-tuned here. Everything's refined. Everything's enhanced. There's scenes with lighting that just made me go, oh my god, like stunning things on display here. There's times where in Miles' universe, I was just like, yo, that straight up looks like a real shot of something. Just the beautiful art that's on display here. Never afraid to be an animated film, but always striving to make it feel so over the top, so perfect. And then when we go to other worlds, and then when we see spider people from other worlds and how their visual styles clash, oh my goodness, what an amazing like they took time in between these movies, and it feels like it, and it paid off amazingly in the visual department. This movie also has a crazy amount of spider people. I mean, like 200 spider people I feel like are in just one frame of this movie. It's amazing. The new additions are absolutely top tier new additions. Miguel, great. Jessica Drew, amazing. Oh my, I can talk about Ben Reilly and his amazing brooding self. Spider-Punk, Spider-Man India. All of these characters are just so impactful, and they sit with you. There's a lot of characters introduced here, which is great, because the first movie had a lot of characters. There's even more here, but they spend time with these characters. We feel them. We know who they are. We get attached to them. So when things happen, instantly you're like, oh, I feel that. Oh, I get them. Oh, I get where they're coming from. It's hard to do that with so many characters. I thought they were balancing that well in the first movie, but they balanced it well here. And then the story. We have our villain Spot, who was a product of what happened in the first movie. So again, continuing it on, but they're upping the story. Spot is tired of being the villain of the week. Like, he's just like, no, I want to be a big bad. I want to be Miles's arch nemesis, and he goes out of his way to do that. So we're seeing Miles have to deal with that, but also deal with the multiverse madness that is happening. He's also dealing with his feelings for his family, his feelings for Gwen. There's a lot of emotional stuff here. It's a lot of a story. It can get confused at times where you're like, okay, so who's here? Who's working with who? But at the core of it, Miles and Gwen are just trying to be happy, get their lives okay. But Miguel says being a spider person is not easy. This is what you're going to have to do. Miles is tired of people telling him what to do. Spider-Punk in the background's like, yeah, fight the man over here. And I'm like, yeah, do it. Live your own life, make your own destiny. And that's what Miles wants to do. It's an easy story to follow, and it just makes it that much more engaging. And it shows as a sequel how they upped the ante and made this even better than the first film. I briefly mentioned all the various spider people, but right now I'm going to pick out some of my favorite. Miles Morales is my favorite spider person ever. I love me some Peter Parker. Specifically, I love the Tobey Maguire era. I actually really like Andrew Garfield, even if I don't love his villains in his movies. I like the Peter Parker character, but Miles, a special character to me, means so much to me. Gwen Stacy, what a story progression for Gwen. What an upping her in the quality. Like, it feels like Gwen matters. I love, she's great in the first film, but it wasn't her movie. It's still not her movie. Miles and her definitely share it, but it feels like a video game where you're going from one character to another, and it's split evenly, and you like it. You want to spend time with it, not like that first Spider-Man game when, like, the one for PlayStation 4, and you're like, oh, a Mary Jane mission? Not here. You're like, oh, a Gwen Stacy mission? Thank you. Love this. So for the more of the different spider people that we're introduced to, Spider-Punk. Daniel Kaluuya, amazing. Daniel Kaluuya is one of my favorite actors. His voice acting here, perfect. I also really like Spider-Man India. He's the guy who played Dopinder in the Deadpool movies. Amazing. Jessica Drew, I love Issa Rae. She's in this movie a fair amount. I could have used a little bit more of her. The secret love of Ben Reilly. Look, oh my god. Scarlet Spider eats this movie up. He's in he's a supporting character, but the jokes are amazing. They hit you hard. They land well. And our main antagonist, he's not the villain, but he is definitely facing off with Miles, Miguel. Oscar Isaac is once again continuing to show why he is one of the best forces in this industry. I love him in live action, but Oscar Isaac as a voice actor in this role with Miguel, you're just like, holy hell, you are on fire. Just an amazing assortment of talent from these voice actors to these characters. You want more of them. You're invested in this universe, and it feels satisfying when you get each and every turn with these characters. With an ending of this movie that legit made me say, what? Like, verbally, I went, oh my goodness. From the ending to all the new characters to the upped visual style that feels like an art piece. Every single frame of this movie could be displayed in a museum. All of this makes Across the Spider-Verse one of the best movies I've seen this year. The best animated movie I'm going to probably see all year. And probably, I cannot believe I'm going to say this, my favorite Spider-Man movie. I am sorry, Spider-Man 2, you're bumped out of the way. Sorry, Into the Spider-Verse on one viewing. This is everything I wanted. Oh my goodness, that's it for my review. What do you think of this review? I wish I can get into spoilers. I cannot wait to talk about insane cameos, the twists, the turns, the ending. I want to talk about all of that. So if you do enjoy this breakdown of why I think this is a perfect sequel, tune in. Let me know down below if you would like to see me do a full spoiler breakdown of all of these goodies. All right, guys, comment down below, subscribe, let me know what you think, and make sure we talk about Across the Spider-Verse right down below.